Today's passage from the Epistle of James is a little uncomfortable. At least it is for some of us. The writer circles back to an issue he brought up earlier in the letter concerning the problematic relationship between the church and its wealthier members. Early in the letter, he criticized the church for making a fuss over wealthy members, showing them deference while pushing the poorer members to the side. Now he does what can only be described as a full frontal assault. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Thursday, November 17th, 2022. There's a saying among preachers that one of our jobs from time to time is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. This is also a task journalists embrace in their profession. The idea, of course, is that over and over again, the scriptures of both the Old and New Testaments point out and decry the treatment of the poor at the hands of the rich. It is one of the major themes that runs throughout nearly all of the Old Testament prophets. And now we see it bubble up in this epistle. There's no sense in keeping you in suspense, so here's what the writer of James has to say. Come now, you rich people, weep and wail for the miseries that are coming to you. Your riches have rotted and your clothes are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have rusted, and their rust will be evidence against you, and it will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure for the last days. Listen, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, cry out. And the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in pleasure. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous one, who does not resist you. Ouch! It's hard even to hear these words spoken today. I wonder what the effect was in the churches where this epistle was originally read. That's how epistles like this were presented in that day. The church would receive the epistle, and then the leaders of the church would read it in the assembly, presumably during worship. I wonder if some of the members, probably the wealthier members, got up and stormed out, threatening to withhold their pledges. I wonder if there was a general murmuring as the weight of these words fell on the assembly. Did they land with a thud like a lead balloon? Or were they greeted with joy? It's impossible to say because there is literally no record to tell us. For the writer of James, what is at stake is not just garden variety economic injustice. The issue is more than what we often call social justice. What is at stake for this writer is the very integrity of the church and its witness to Jesus Christ. To claim, in the words of Paul, that all are one in Jesus Christ is beautiful rhetoric. But what if in our claims of Christian unity we actually practice something very different? What if the wealthy in the church took advantage of the poorer members, paying them less than what they should? What would that say about the church's commitment to the radical equality among members of different economic status? The issue here is not that there are some wealthier and some poorer members. The issue is not whether some people in the church run successful business enterprises while others labor as employees. That's just part of life. The issue is integrity. For the wealthy to claim to be equal in the eyes of God to others in the church and then turn around and treat fellow members unfairly undermines both the church's unity and the integrity of its gospel message. Whether intentional or not, it would go something like this. Wealthy church members, believing themselves to be good, upright, pious folk, would take advantage of the kindness and non-confrontational nature of the poorer members and pay them less than what they ought. And they wouldn't see anything wrong with it. Indeed, they couldn't. For in their belief and their own virtue, they couldn't imagine that they would ever do anything wrong, let alone take advantage of the kindness of others. But they did, and it still happens today. As I said at the beginning, this is an uncomfortable passage. it surely makes some of us squirm just a little bit. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we need to be reminded, all of us, that we are not always as virtuous as we like to think we are. Tomorrow, a call for patience. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.